You're listening to the Cars of Carlisle Network, podcast episode number 87. Happy New Year's, year 2020.
Cars of Carlisle is your favorite internationally downloaded podcast about all things automotive. Darren and his CofC team are ever searching for interesting automotive happenings, real stories about real car people, and fun features to inform and entertain you. Each week, the Cars of Carlisle crew brings you show topics ranging from car shows to team adventures to auto racing weekends to behind-the-scenes human interest stories from car nuts that live across town, across the country, or even across the globe. Come join the road trip.
Hello and welcome back, Cubers, to your favorite informative automotive podcast. I am your trusted host, Darren, and sitting next to me here in Studio A tonight is...
Scott. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, 2020 is right there. In fact, if you're downloading this on schedule and you are a subscriber, it is New Year's Eve. If you are not, you're probably getting this a day or two later. Definitely think about subscribing. The benefits are it's free and it'll be in your queue every week. You don't have to think about it. It'll just give you a notification. It's ready to go.
And you'll be part of the cool crowd of Cubers.
That's right. And being a part of that, it helps us because it continues to show that we're growing. More subscribers means more attention, which means possible sponsorship and everything else that allows us to do more, to travel more, to meet more people, to do bigger things. And I'm even hoping that we can start giving away swag and having contests and that kind of thing. So every little bit helps.
And it's a more cohesive car community. It's great.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about we're going to go over highlights of 2019, and then we're going to have a little bit of a tease of what's to come here in 2020. We've started to plan as a team what we're going to do and where we're going to head and the events we're going to cover. But let's do just kind of a year in review. And that really got started, if we talk about, we went to Automania. I remember that. That was a very cold Saturday up in Allentown.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
A lot of fun. We had done in that episode about car manufacturers all over the world, different parts of the world, and what those OEMs have produced from country to country, Germany, France, Japan, etc. That was a lot of fun.
And then we went from all over the world back to local with Mr. BMW, Chris Roth from
Newville, PA. Yeah.
Great guy.
All right. And then we happened to make friends with two new staff members, and that is Sam Farringer, Lou Giannakopoulos. They are now the Sam and Lou Show, and they are an Introcast.
They were from the Muscle Car Millennials.
Yes.
And you just interviewed them.
Yes.
And they were so great.
Back in February. Yeah, it was around mid-part, like Valentine's Day time.
Yeah. They know so much about automotive, and it's just great.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun, and we're so glad to have them be part of the Cars of Carlisle team. We had some Cubers ask they wanted to know a little bit more about how is it that how was I a car guy? And we talked to my parents, and they got into a little bit about what they have always collected and the cars they've had. Then we went to a museum that actually, I'm kind of giving it away, preempting ourselves. We're going to be going back to America on Wheels on the 25th of January, but our very first visit there was in late February.
And I was really impressed with that because I had no idea that there was something like that right there. And you wouldn't guess it from outside. The building doesn't look that big, but really cool exhibits inside. Great. They had great displays. And then when we were there, they dealt with all the fins. It was a whole fin exhibit at that point. But they move them in and out. And they just had some amazing cars there. It's well worth a trip or just go. It's really great.
Yeah, completely impressed. We stayed local in Mechanicsburg and went to the Rolls-Royce Owners Club.
Which I've lived here my entire life, and I never knew that it was right there.
I know.
Yeah.
And people from all over the world know about it.
It's great. Yeah.
And we had a chance to had the forward look Mopar, learned a lot about everything with that brand and how it truly was ahead of its time from really the era, the rocket age, and just some amazing design work there. Well, stayed also in Mechanicsburg, talked to our friend Mike Both. We went to the Classic Auto Mall, which got on the Turnpike, headed east.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
That's not what I expected. Whenever we went down there, probably 20 years ago, I had gone down there because it was a huge outlet mall, actually, and it's still set up the same way, but it was just great.
And a lot of square footage of cars. I mean, you can spend hours, which we did.
Oh, yeah. being
walking
driven
through
around and on the golf cart. It was great. Yep, it was just great.
Most definitely. Then I had a trip out to Southern California and just sort of the whole LA scene, and hung out with new friend Lisa Langley. That was a lot of fun.
That
cool.
was great. The photo. If you didn't check those out, go out to Instagram and check those out again. The photos are just so cool. Her with her dirt bikes, and just she's spectacular. Yeah, just great.
Without a doubt.
And then the next one is how we got involved in our whole rally.
Oh, right. Well,
or partially.
Well, we talked to Bob Blanton, and he took me for a hair-raising ride in his SRT. Then he was, like you said, got us interested in Rally North America. From there, we started getting into the event season for Carlisle events. Started to kick off with the spring show, and talked to Bill Sangre, who I think has...
For the first time.
Yes, exactly.
But there was a second episode we just had with Bill as well.
Yep.
Always interesting.
Went to a local Mopar club and met some great people. In fact, Jeff Bangert, we did a whole series or whole episode just on his Trans Am CUDA, and he has a lot of followers, a lot of interest in that. Got into, like we said, the show season's now going. We did the imports, the Ford, all of that. That's also when I had a chance to sit down with one of the co-founders of Rally North America, Tony Anturi himself.
How great.
Which just then I was intrigued. I thought, this is something we need to do.
And you were hooked.
I was.
Yeah.
I really was. We talked to Bill Powell, who was a local dirt racer, and had a chance to go over the mountain and speak with him. We then had some previews on what to expect with Rally North America. We, of course, talked to Tony to get an idea of what was coming up. Then after Scott and I actually did the event, we came back and gave you the navigator and the driver points of view of what it was like.
That's whenever I made you stop calling me passenger and I was navigator. I'm very important in that right seat now. So there.
Oh my gosh! Well, a big shout out to Joseph. He has been a very consistent fan, and
that was from our Boise episode.
Yeah, that was at the Firebird Drag Strip.
Yep.
Met him, and
so he's our number one Boise, Idaho fan.
Yes, west of the Mississippi. Got to give it to Joseph on that. So he continues to put the word out of everything happening with Cars of Carlisle. So then we got into several intercasts coming up where Sam and Lou, we're starting to get them into the whole lineup and the whole episode series.
And that was the Yanko was their first one that they did.
And Yanko was this.
And Yanko was their first one. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Sam and Lou did a podcast and Yanko was their first one. Okay, sorry. Moving on.
While we were on that trip while we were on the rally trip, we were up, you want to say where in New Hampshire?
In Keene.
Yes.
Very cool. I was
town.
keen on Keene.
It was a cool town. We met Josh Mazerel. He pulled up alongside us, and we were in the vet, and we ended up doing an interview with him, but he is the owner of Vague Industries, and he has an incredible story. So
what an interesting man.
Oh, man. Great guy. If you haven't had a chance, that is one of the really some of the coolest content. Episode 67 is worth a re-listen or listen if you haven't.
And it's really nice and easy to listen to, too. It's really good. Check it out.
Yep. We met some other cool people. We went to
Rob Dyson.
Yeah, the Dyson Racing Facility.
Yep. Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, that was
spectacular.
Mm-hmm. The AACA Museum, they opened the doors and really welcomed us in. We got to spend some time there. Sam and Lou went back to do a Studebaker Intercast, which that one hit, I think that was episode 80 back in November. But prior to that, there was another Intercast that the guys did, and that was the Buick Grand National, of which Lou himself owns one.
Right. So it was of particular interest to him. That was great.
Yep.
And then you met our very local friends.
Oh, yeah. Vinny and Vanessa Scalavino, a father and daughter team that have a body shop and some really amazing things those guys are doing.
And what an interesting story. Check that one out as well if you did not.
Yeah, that is really episode 74. Definitely think that's worth
And then that kind of springboarded you to...
Noel Dumas for Motor Girl Studios. That was episode 79. That aired first week of November, I believe it was.
And we have got to get a copy of what she had done for you out on our Instagram. We'll post that at some point here. But check it out. Her work is unbelievable. What she does to put things together. True art.
Visionary.
Complete visionary. Yeah. It's great. Check out Noel.
And Jerry Kiefer, speaking of artists, we actually had him on the show, episode 81. He does this fine art light painting, and he takes buildings and cars, and it just makes it look like heirloom quality art. It's incredible. He then, one of his his photos that is just so striking was done in front of Red Horse Motoring Club, of which he gave me the name of one of the co-founders there, Chuck Harders. We went and interviewed him.
Yeah, it was great.
So Chuck's episode's 82.
And also of interest to people who are local and with the racing scene, someone that we've known forever since he was a kid,
right.
but a wonderful young man now, Tony Jackson with his dirt track champion. Yeah,
right.
For the past year, 2019.
Right.
Wonderful. Check that one out. It's episode 75.
Yeah, that one was back in October. Jeremy Berenbaum. We talked a little bit about... Classic.com and what they've done on the West Coast. In fact, I'm kind of preempting again. They've invited us out to California to check out, maybe get some time on Willow Springs track, see what the LA scene's all about. But really cool things happening with Classic.com. Check that episode. That was 84, and that one was just here in December.
And check out what they have. I mean, like the people that we're mentioning here with Vague Industries and with the Classic.com, check them out. Go on to our Friends of Cars of Carlisle on our website and check them. There are some direct links there and banners that you can check them out.
Definitely. Well, I'm always big on reflecting, but what's ahead? And 2020 is lining up to be an incredible year. Thanks to all of you for your continued support. We are just about 7,000 downloads. We've been growing at an incredible rate. We can tell that you're getting the word out, that people are subscribing. For all that, we say thank you very, very much. Also, Scott, I think it would be worth telling people, too, that today's episode is brought to you by
Audible.
Just go to audibletrial.com/Cars of Carlisle and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. You can download a title for free and start listening right away.
And we're going to have a banner up on the website of Cars of Carlisle as well. So if you don't type it in directly or your URL to go to find them at audibletrial.com/Cars of Carlisle, just check on the website of Cars of Carlisle and we'll have a banner there you can click and it should be a direct link there as well.
Absolutely. Well, why Audible? Simply, Audible content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy.
There's everything out
there. It is, yeah. Everything you can imagine from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. For example, I spend a lot of time in my car going to different car show events. I know you've been running along with me, doing a lot of travel, interstate, and going for these interviews to get ready for our podcast. I spend a lot of time, so I listen to my Audible, and I have listened to, can't tell you how many books. And
That's great.
A lot of, for me, it's self-help but I just enjoy that kind of thing quite a bit. So
after you've downloaded and listened to Cars of Carlisle podcast, then hop over and listen to your Audible title.
There you go. So how do you get your perk? So download that very free audiobook today. Go to audibletrial.com/Cars of Carlisle. Again, that is audibletrial.com/Cars of Carlisle for your free audiobook.
Do it today.
Okay, so the new year, Scott. A lot happening. In fact, Sam and Lou, we've been talking to them through our online staff meetings, and they are working on, they were just as inspired by going to Ford versus Ferrari. I know we went to the theater a couple times.
So good.
Yeah, such a great... And Phil Remington was just the master mechanic. I mean, his mechanical mind behind everything. They're doing a new Intracast that's going to be inspired by Ford versus Ferrari, that movie, but really focused on folks like Phil Remington. So that one will be coming up here. In fact, we have it slated to go, I believe, January 11th. Somewhere
middle of January.
Yeah, middle of January. But we talked earlier about Tony Jackson. We have some
even
guests.
Younger racers,
yes,
hopefully, that
very
you're
young,
be interviewing and talking with. That they're pretty spectacular coming up into the sprint car racing and dirt track sorts of things. So that'll be really interesting too.
Well, and we are going to find road rally drivers, road course drivers, drag strip. I mean, we're into like any style of racing, so a lot of that will be coming too. We have a possibility of getting out to the West Coast, to California. We mentioned that with Classic.com and Jeremy Birnbaum. We'll keep you posted with Rally North America events. Whether we can get the vet back out again this year or not, we will certainly be talking to our friend Tony Antreri and do everything we can to give you guys updates and heads up and previews and and anything that you may want to know about. Certainly the Carlisle event schedule, right, Scott? I mean, it's going to be another full year, 9 shows here in Carlisle.
And that will come up really soon.
We talked earlier about getting back to see Linda and the crew at our friends at America on Wheels. That's slated for the last Saturday of the month.
Yeah, and
January.
when we were there last, they were only working on the one building that was across the way, the restoration building.
Right,
but that's
exactly.
supposed to be part of now what you can go through as well and check out, which I think will be really interesting. I think they had one small room in there,
like a preview
dealt
of
with
those.
a little preview of the restorations, but this is an entire building.
You can see it in process.
Yeah, it would be great.
And the exhibit we're going to be seeing here in a few weeks is all Ford Thunderbirds.
It's going to be great.
And not only that, but we are working on some other things, including possible 1 to maybe 2 trips overseas. And Scott and I were there last November to Ireland. We had some fun episodes from that.
Top of the podcast to you.
So hoping we can get across the Atlantic maybe once or twice here coming up. So we're trying to make this very much a global community, and everyone invited. This is totally inclusive, and we're so very excited about all the great things happening. Truly, none of this would be possible without you. We thank you for consistently downloading, listening, subscribing, rating, reviewing. All of these things matter. We're going to try and maybe do some special content out on Patreon. We're looking to how do we expand, how do we grow, how do we give more of what you're asking for. So I read every single email that comes through. Scott does the same. Please, any feedback or comments you have, send it to us. We want to make sure that we're staying current, staying up on what you want, what you like. I always think of it as what would you like to see more of, what would you like to see less of, what should we start doing, what should we stop doing. We are absolutely open to your constructive input, criticism, comments, feedback, any of it. So you can reach us at carsofcarlisle@outlook.com. Email us anytime.
All the time. Email. Or go on to www.carsofcarlisle.com and you can connect through us through there with the contact page, and also give us feedback. There's that out there too that you can just give your opinions and let us know what you're thinking.
All right, Scott. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. We are so glad that you're on this journey with us. If nothing else, it's a 20, 30, 40-minute escape road trip from life. Things can get challenging and rough, but here's to a prosperous 2020, a great new year for you, your loved ones, your friends, your family, your car club members, for the car you've been searching for the car you're working on, restoring whatever it might be. We know 2020 is going to be great, and we hope the very best for all of you. So come back next week. We'll have fresh content for you. And for now, we'll say Happy New Year. Drive well.
Be well.
Take care.